Hello and very warm welcome to the platform of Victory IAS. As you are aware that we are discussing 2 years current affair rapid revision series, and we are here to discuss economy related current affair issues. So there are various topics that we have divided, and today we will be discussing industry related issues. So if we talk about industries, first few basic things we need to understand that what constitute industrial structure in India. So when we talk about industries, in industry there are few things that are related to industry. Number one is related to mining and quarrying, right? So mining and quarrying. I have already explained you that this mining and quarrying, if you study geography, this mining and quarrying is a part of a primary activity. But when we talk about industries, they are secondary activity, and in economy, industries are secondary, right? They are secondary sector of economy. It's secondary sector, and in secondary sector it includes mining and quarrying plus refinery, right? Refinement of this, for example, when we mine some minerals, etc., we don't use it directly, so refinement process is needed, and for that we have refineries. So when we talk about mining and quarrying in terms of economy, we club it together with this refinement. That is why it is considered as, because this refinement takes place in an industrial setup, that is why it is known as secondary activity or secondary sector, that is refinement, right? Or refinement. What we consider second, we consider this manufacturing unit, right? And this manufacturing also includes this food processing industry also. So manufacturing is second, and third, when we talk about third, is electricity, gas and water supply. Electricity, gas and water supply, right? That is also called as sometimes utility services, gas and water supply, right? This is under industrial sector. And fourth and the last one is construction, right? This is part of industrial sector in India, right? So this is secondary sector when we talk about industries. So these are the sub parts of industries, right? Now when we talk about issues related to industries, uh, few things also you need to remember here, that when we talk about major issues, the one of the biggest issue that we are having is we are not able to uh, uh, achieve the potential that we are having in manufacturing sector. We are not we are having lot of as we have discussed this balance of payment, etc. So we have lot of trade deficit in terms of goods, in terms of commodities, in terms of services we are performing better, but in terms of goods, when it comes to trading of goods, export and import, so we are exporting more than our imports. So we are having deficit here. So we need to enhance our manufacturing sector. This is one thing. Although as we will proceed, we will see some new terms in it and some more insights into it, right? So let's start with the first topic here, industrial concentration in India. What do we mean by industrial concentration? If you study polity, there in polity also there is directive principle of state policy, where we study that state shall put effort to stop or to prevent concentration of wealth in few hands, right? That is part of DPSP. So industrial concentration in India, that is happening, right? So this news is related to this. The biggest of India's big businesses seem to be thriving. Data regarding India's big businesses, according to a former RBI Deputy Governor's report, the share of assets in the non-financial sector owned by big five business groups has risen from 10% to 18% between 91 to 2021. So it is a kind of contradiction that is taking place when there is a kind of obligation, not obligation but directive principle to the state, that it should put effort to prevent concentration of wealth in few hands, and here we see concentration is happening, whereas the share of next five has fallen from 18% to less than 19%. Now what is causing this industrial concentration? I hope we understand industrial concentration when few big companies are there and they are getting contracts related to I'll not take name, but we can understand that they are also getting contracts with respect to maintenance of airports. They are also getting contracts with respect to oil imports, etc. So uh, variety of diversified industrial activities are being carried by only few firms there, so or big houses there. That is concentration, right? functioning of market is also causing this, right? Given asset income inequality. For example, if we talk about maintenance of airport, right? If government today comes with auction of this contract related to this maintenance of airports, what do you think, how many firms are there which can actually bid for it, right? Very few, because the kind of income and the kind of accumulation of wealth is very less. It is in few hands, so there are only few industrial houses which can bid for it, and they can get the contracts of it, right? So functioning of market is also one factor here. Differential power among economic agents. Market do not promote competition but concentration and centralization, right? The dangers of such rapid rise in industrial concentration. What are the concerns that we can understand here? Number one is stifles competition. For example, the recent Indigo fiasco we have seen, it is basically because Indigo is controlling approximately 65% of the market, right? Earlier, if you can recall, that we had this competition commission earlier, right? And we had this, no, MRTP, right? Let's forget about competition, it came later. Before 1991 we had MRTP commission, Monopolistic and Restrictive Trade Practices Act, right? MRTP Act, and we had MRTP commission also. So if you are controlling more than 25% of the market, right? If you are controlling more than 25% of the market, then your decisions, lot many important decisions would be taken by MRTP commission. That was the provision earlier, but MRTP commission got replaced by competition commission in later phases after 1991 reforms. So you can understand now it is possible to control that much market. Earlier it was not possible. If it is happening, that means the major decisions will be controlled by the government, right? That was the idea earlier. But with liberalization and all, we because we thought that MRTP Act, etc., they are restricting the kind of growth that should be there in in industries mainly. So that is why we got we replaced MRTP commission with competition commission, right? So it stifles competition. For example, this Indigo we have seen, this telecom industry also we see similar kind of problem that is there, right? They are cartelizing. I will explain cartel also, that is there in next topics or few topics later. Contributes to inflation or profiteering. Profiteering means you are only focusing on profit. You want to earn profit in any way through the manipulation of cost and prices. Influence institution and democracy, such as the capture of media also, right? When there are only few industrial houses, there are only few houses that are controlling the entire business, so media can be captured. Dilute the role that civil society can play as countervailing power, right? In time, leads to undue corporate influence over political processes and the formulation of policy. We have seen earlier there were in fact allegations with respect to asking questions in exchange of some money, etc. So those kind of things can also happen. Tendencies of state capture as well. Fosters extreme asset and income inequality, right? Fosters extreme assets and income inequality, because when only few industrial houses are getting more contracts, more and more contracts, then what will happen, that they will be having they will foster what, extreme asset and income inequality. If few people are getting more business, then they will be having more income, and other people will have less income, that kind of thing. How can this be minimized, right? What efforts can be done? So by regulating markets to physically prevent the growth of dominant businesses and excessively large conglomerate, or even break up those that are seen as too big for comfort, right? So that effort should be there, but it is very difficult to actually implement on ground. When we say we should stop these big conglomerate, etc., no, it is not possible right now. The kind of scenario that is prevailing outside, you can imagine, right? We cannot prevent Adani to grow, we cannot prevent Ambani to grow, right? There are very few options also available, right? And where there is less option, or for that matter, if we make some new options also, then availability of credit, entire functioning of market, seamless functioning may not be possible, because the kind of market that is there, how it functions. Challenges towards regulating market is the state is not independent of influence of big businesses, right? state is also under the influence of big businesses. The distance between the state and private capital has narrowed hugely. This political funding, etc., you might have heard about it, leading to the current situation in which the state promotes big business rather than regulates or curb the latter. We have seen this entire Hindenburg and this all these Adani stock crash, etc. So there were talks, right? Opposition has alleged many a times that this involvement of Adani, and there is a kind of a close relation between Adani and the Prime Minister, especially. So these are, see, allegations. We cannot go in discussion of all these factors, but there are the things that we cannot eliminate, right? There are allegations, and sometimes they come up with some evidences also, but we are less bothered about this because our syllabus is not about those things. Those political gossips, etc., or those allegations are not much important for us. Now, three trends have signaled the narrowing of political distance. What kind of things we have seen? The embrace of neoliberalism by powerful voices within and outside the state, right? So, state is also having these kind of things that we can see here. This implied the adoption of the view that the role of the state is not to regulate private capital but to facilitate its growth, to foster competition and all around economic progress. This is the kind of change in the responsibility of the government. Earlier, government was there to as a service provider, also government was available there, but now government is only working as a regulator, only as a facilitator, and the work of government is not to restrict, rather to facilitate the kind of things which are required, right? To facilitate the kind of things which are required for the growth of industrial houses and in turn the growth of country, right? However, the reverse has happened. Examples are in areas such as telecommunication and civil aviation. We have seen the propagation of the view that the state must help strengthen domestic big businesses. State policy, diplomacy, and public resources had to serve as instruments for the purpose, and while liberalization opened up Indian markets and subjected much of Indian businesses to global competition, state intervention like subsidies, etc., was modified to protect and promote sections of big business. The refusal to reduce the influence of money in politics is also one factor. Now, what we can understand from this, since next topic or next topic is also related to protectionism in industries, we need to understand one thing here, that when we talk about liberalization or opening up our economy, we have to see that we went far beyond in all these protectionist policies, right? Earlier also, before 1991, we were protecting our industries, our domestic manufacturers a lot, and in that particular policy, we have we have not allowed our domestic manufacturers to grow. Why I'm saying this? Because we need to understand that when we are see, South Korea, etc., has also gone for protectionist policies only. Today we see this LG and this Samsung, we see, right? More specifically Samsung, when it was growing in its initial days, the government also provided protectionism to them, right? So protectionist policies were there, but it was having some sunset clause that we will protect you for these many years. In these many years, you have to improve your quality, you have to become efficient, so that when we remove all these protectionist policy, you should be able to compete on global market. That was the idea. But now in India, we don't see that kind of thing happening. Once you have been protected, you will be protected eternally. That kind of things that are there, right? So I hope you can understand this. We will discuss more on protectionism. Over time, the policy has been changed to legitimize corporate donations to political parties, including through infamous electoral bond scheme that was scrapped down by the Supreme Court. But we can understand this, right? Elections are now it has been alleged many a times that election is now being won by the power of muscle and money only. Thus, big businesses has turned out to be a prerequisite for garnering resources needed to manage elections and win electoral support. That is known as quid pro quo, right? You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. So I will protect you and you fund my elections, right? Those are the things. What is frightening in the current situation? So why this situation is danger for the economy? The tendencies have coalesced into a strategy of strengthening Indian businesses as part of promoting the national interest, like when Hindenburg, etc., happened, and when it was attack on businesses of Adani, the kind of surrounding and the kind of social media, etc., they made it an issue of national interest. So these kind of things are also there. Any dissent against centralization and concentration is being suppressed by state in the name of national interest. Now what we can do, what are the steps to do? Democracies have battled hard to force government to maintain some distance from private capital in general and big businesses in particular. A broad alliance of diverse classes can push the state to take strong action against monopoly and trustification. That is why I told you that earlier, when this was the case, when monopolistic and restrictive trade practices act were in place, then we thought that we are not allowing these industries to grow, we are discouraging investment. Sorry, we are discouraging investment, and finally we we replaced MRTP with competition commission, that we should not stop anybody to invest in the business, but government presence should be there as a strong regulator. But now we see government being a regulator that is there, but these firms are taking advantage of the loopholes that are present, and they are they are controlling market in a big way that ideally should not happen. Some similar efforts were seen in India immediately after independence, that is license permit quota raj, right? But now we have seen um, the disadvantage of these policies also, right, when red tapeism, etc., were there. So conclusion we can draw here is, though license permit quota raj of the pre-reform era is not possible today in India, what new India need is the equitable treatment of all businesses irrespective of their size to promote national interest in the long term, right? This is related to these kind of activities. Right, now one more topic related to this, interconnected to this only, annual survey of industries. So annual survey of industries for the year 21-22 and 21-22 revealed 2021 and 21-22 revealed significant growth across various parameters in the manufacturing sector. So it is about manufacturing sector. I have already told you why manufacturing sector is so important. One issue is there, that is related to balance of payment and having current account deficit. Gross value added increased by 8.8% in 2021, 2020 and 21, and by remarkable 26% in 21-22 compared to the respective previous year. The idea here is why we are able to see so much growth, because we are having low base effect. Our growth in manufacturing sector is low. Industrial output witnessed a growth of more than 35% in 2021, 21 and 22 over the previous years, right? Total employment in the sector showed a robust growth of 7% in 21-22 over previous year, exceeding pre-pandemic levels by over 9.35 lakh. Now when we talk about employment in this industrial sector, the major idea that we need to understand here is, still we are burdened in the burden of this workforce. Excessive workforce is there on agriculture, right? Approximately 45% workforce is there in agriculture, but if we see the contribution of agriculture in GDP is approximately 14% only. So GDP contribution is 14%, but still 45% of workforce is there in agriculture. That shows the kind of excessive burden of workforce that is there on agriculture. So what these people can do, these people can be transferred in industries, right? Can be transferred in industries, because industries are still contributing approximately 30% of into the GDP, and also employing 29 to approximately 30% of workforce only. So there is huge potential in industries to accept large amount of workforce also, right? Large number of people as a workforce. Among the major states, Gujarat remained the top in 2020, while Maharashtra ranked first in 21-22, right? Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, and Uttar Pradesh were among the top 5 states contributing significantly to manufacturing and employment in both years. The annual survey of industries is a statutory survey that has been conducted in India since 1959. But these data you can also avail from recent economic survey that will be more accurate, right? I'm not saying that this is not accurate data. This is accurate, but more reliance can be there on the data published in economic survey. It is the primary source of industrial statistics in the country. The ASI is issued to assess changes in the structure and growth of registered manufacturing units. It's also helped in build database on labor cost, earnings, employment, labor turnover, and absenteeism in manufacturing industries, right? So these are the topics, a few topics related to industries. We will see few more topics in the next videos. So stay tuned to the channel of Victory IAS, and we will do more topics related to current affairs. Thank you very much.